Hello, so today I want to show you guys how to make this adult sized chunky braided headband. Super simple, super easy, super fast, and it would make a nice last minute gift. This headband is made using single crochets in the back loop only. It's basic stitches, just single crochet, turn your work. So you have a color change and the halfway point to give it the two-tone. And then we have a technique of how to make the braid in front, which is just sandwiching the two layers, folding them in half, sandwiching them together, and then sewing along the seam to achieve this braided look. And let me show you the materials that you'll need and walk you through what I did. There will be a pattern available on my blog at the bottom of the video in the description, so you guys could totally forego watching the video if you'd like. I totally don't mind that. And just make it off the blog. Watch it at least one time, give me a like, a subscribe, that'd be super nice. But I'm going to be using a super bulky 6. Any super bulky 6 yarn will do. My 10 millimeter hook, a large eye needle. So I like this one because it allows for the yarn to actually fit through comfortably. Scissors, of course, and this is optional, but if you don't know the head size and you want to make this as a gift or like a last minute gift, a measuring tape would be good. My head measures 23 inches, so that's the size I'm going to be making today. If you wanted to make this smaller, you just measure it on your head or measure it using the measuring tape. If you're deciding on making a two-toned headband, just have your second yarn ready. Let's begin. So we're going to begin with a longer tail than normal because we're going to use this tail later in the project to sew the braid closed. So we're going to use a kind of an 8-inch tail and make a slip knot. And this is our tail, and this is our working yarn. And we're going to chain 9. Okay, that's my chain of 9. And we're going to work in the back humps. So to get the back humps, they look like this. It just cleans up the edge. This is the front. They look like little braids. And when you turn it over, you can see all 3 of the loops, but we're going to be working in these little humps. We're going to skip this first chain and we're going to work into the next chain, and we'll be single crocheting into the back humps. So I'm going to turn it slightly. See, we have this back hump, and we're going to insert and then hook the hook around the back hump and yarn over, pull the loop, and pull through the 2. And that's your first single crochet. And we're just going to work that down. And you should have 8 single crochet at the end of this row. Okay, so these are our 8 single crochet in the back hump, and row 2 through row 40 is a repeat. So you just repeat row 2 until you have 40 rows done. And if you were doing a two-toned headband, like the one I showed you, you would be doing 20 rows of the repeat and then changing colors and finishing off with 20 more rows to equal 40 rows. So I'm going to show you row 2, which is a repeat. So we're chaining 1, we're turning the work, and then we're going to be working in the back loops only. So you see we have these V's on the top. This is the front loop and this is the back loop. Normally you would go into both loops, but for this, to make the ribbing of the headband, we're going to be going into the back loops. So insert our hook into the back loop, yarn over, pull up the loop, yarn over, pull through 2. And that's your first single crochet, and we're just going to single crochet into the back loop of these 8 stitches across. Actually, of the 7 stitches across, and then in the last stitch I'll show you what to do. So single crochet in the back loop. So it was 7 in the back loop. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then in the last stitch, instead of going in the back loop, we're going to be going into both loops. And single crocheting. And I find that that gives the piece a more sturdy, like it's just sturdier. I like it. So that's what we're repeating. We're going to chain 1, single crochet in the back loops only, across for 7, and then work in both loops of the last stitch. I'm going to repeat row 2 again so that you guys see it but closer. Chain 1, turn the work, single crochet in the back loop, of each of the 7 stitches across. And then single crochet in both loops of the last stitch. And that's what you're going to repeat. Now, if you're doing a two-tone headband or ear warmer, if you're doing a two-tone ear warmer, you're going to repeat row 2 for 20 rows. And then change your color and then work 21 through 40 in your next tone, doing the same pattern. So I'm going to skip ahead and show you my two-tone headband. Okay, so zooming out a little, this is my 40 rows of completed. So 20, 40. So yeah, grab your sewing needle, and I'm going to show you how to do the close, to close the braid. I tied this knot. So I like to just do that. So this is going to be how we do it. Take the side you like the most. And we're going to do this. We're going to fold this in half, making sure, fold this one in half. I like to have one of the tails be outside, so I'm going to do it like this, so we have both tails outside. So this tail's outside, this tail's outside. And we're just going to fold this in half onto this part. Like that. And then we're going to fold the top layer like this. So it's kind of doing like an S shape, but it's like C and C. Backward C's, I call it, when we wedge it together. In like this. Like a little sandwich. And this is what makes the braid in the front. So, like that. But before we do that, we need to choose a tail to work in. I just wanted to show you that really fast. So, like, choose a tail, any tail. And then we're gonna do that again. See that? So, we have this tail we're gonna start with. So what I'm gonna do is just take the tail and run it through this layer, grabbing, so there's 1, 2, 3, 4 stitches, the fourth stitch. I like to do it like this so that I know I got all the stitches. And then I'm going to go through the first stitch of the layer, of the next layer. And then I'm counting 1, 2, 3, 4, and I'm going in the fourth stitch of the top layer that's close to me. That way I know I got in all of them and I have the same amount of stitches. And then I'm just going to go reverse back into the next stitch, over into the next stitch, over in the next layer. Make sure I don't lose my gray layer because I almost did. Go into this stitch and then go into this stitch, the first stitch, because actually, yeah, move it over like that. Make sure you pull these layers up because they like to hide. I'm just going to go back, sew in through both layers, and then into the next layer, into the fourth layer, because there's 4 layers that you're sewing. And go into this one. Make sure you pick up this stitch, and you're just making sure it's secure at this point because I've had issues before where I didn't sew it, and you learn from mistakes, right? So that's what we're doing. And then pull it, and then you can just like go in and then make a loop and tie it off, and then sew the other tail in just for extra security. Sew in the ends, it's like to go through the stitches. Then I'm going to use the other tail, the second tail. Just do the same to extra secure it. So going in through here, go in the topmost stitch area so I can kind of conceal the fact that I'm doing this, so it doesn't show through. Okay, so I'm just gonna go through the layers, nothing too complicated. I'm just trying to make sure that everything is secure. So if I want to check, I just turn the piece inside out to check that I did the layering correctly. Sometimes this one will flip, that's why. So here's the, see, I want to secure that one down more, so that's why I checked. But you'll see the back of, because that's open a little. So that is our braided headband. And like I said, I want to kind of secure this stitch in more, so I'm going to flip it back inside out to work that a little better. It's this one right here. So I'm confused now and turned around. I'm going to flip it right side out, and then we kind of do like this. But here's our two-tone headband, and it's a gift that's ready to give to whomever you want. Super cute, super fast to make. This took me under an hour, around 30 minutes. It's a really nice last minute gift for someone in your life.